There's a massive 1,400 home community coming to the Spokane area that is going to change the housing options that we have. Plus, it is going to be a community that we are just not used to. Homes of all shapes and sizes surrounding a common area where there's shops, food, and great walkable options, plus a private pool for the community. And that is just not something we find here in the Spokane, Washington area. So I'm excited to dive into this. There's going to be home plans for all budgets, all lifestyles. And so I think this video is going to be worth watching till the very end. I just recently walked through it, got the updates on what's going on, and this video is going to give you a full breakdown of the community we're talking about. So if you find this valuable, you learn something, my name is Haydn Halsted with the Halsted Home Team here in Spokane, helping you relocate into, out of, or across the Spokane area. And yes, today we're talking about the Mead Works community by Greenstone in the North Spokane area. So if you're not familiar, Mead Works is a massive 1,400 home development that is going to have like a mini Kendall Yards in the middle of it. And if you haven't heard of Kendall Yards, it is probably one of our most walkable, sought after areas if you like living close to the downtown area and want to have access to shops, restaurants, everything right outside your front door. One of those live, work, play communities. Mead Works is going to be similar to that, but on the north side of Spokane, near the north side Costco. There is absolutely tons of development going on in this area. And I really think if you're looking for an amazing opportunity for some appreciation and equity growth over time, then this is a great neighborhood to be investing in. So we're going to break down what is planned for the community, a few of the floor plans. And recently I did walk through the whole community and I did film this video in the community, but my audio completely broke up. So I apologize for that. We're going to have a lot of B-roll and stuff for you, but I'm going to be breaking it down here in the office for you today. So I hope you get something out of this video. Please like, subscribe. And if you'd like to work with my team and talk about your move into, out of, or across Spokane, you can use the contact information on the screen or the links down below. So first we're going to do a community overview. We're going to be looking through the pamphlet for this area, which you can find online yourself. I'm just going to point out a few things to you. The first thing is that this area is very central to living life in the Mead and Colbert areas. And so if that's something you're looking for, but Mead Works is at the intersection of Highway 2 and Highway 395, which makes it very easy to head north, whether it's to Deer Park or to Elk, or head south, whether you're going down 395 and then maybe connecting to I-90 eventually once the north-south freeway is finished and heading east, or you can head down Highway 2, which would take you down Division and then into downtown Spokane. Plus, you are very close to Creekside Elementary School, Farwell Elementary School, and Northwood Middle School. So getting kids to school, if that's in your situation, will be very easy. And then if you have kids in sports, the Union Stadium is just down the road, which services the Mead School District. Plus, you'll have other features, like there's the whole commercial space that's going in next to Costco. You have Costco right outside. Then there's already a STCU bank there. There's a car wash going in. And then there's 7 other spaces planned for the commercial area over there. One of them is hinting at a grocery store, or at least they're suggesting a grocery store could go there. So at least then you don't have to make your late night runs for ice cream to Costco where you have to buy like a 36 pack and you could just buy a 4 pack instead. So here is the community plan. So overall, this is what they're planning on. Right now, they are in this little quadrant here. They've got spec homes already built, pre-sales going on, some already sold, people already living there. I think they've sold maybe 4 or 5 so far. And I think the nice thing about this and the way that they do their construction is that as this portion of the neighborhood is going to be finished up probably by the end of 2026 into early 2027, I would say. And so the construction is going to get out of your backyard pretty quickly. They are going to start breaking ground on Trutina pretty soon. And so you would be looking across to that. But as I was out there, I was actually noticing the nice thing is that they've already planted trees along this road here. And so they've already planted the infrastructure and wanted making the trees start to grow and age so that the neighborhood can feel mature as soon as possible, which I think is great. I feel like a lot of builders wait till the very end to do that landscaping stuff. And that was the very first thing they did so that we can make sure that that neighborhood feels like a neighborhood as soon as possible. In regard to Trutina, like I said, they're going to break ground on that very soon. They expect this to be very popular. Trutina is their 55 plus neighborhood. And unlike the River District, where the Trutina neighborhood is its own separate thing, it's on the other side of Harvard, it's behind a gate. This is going to be more integrated into the community. The only thing is that Trutina is going to have a higher HOA and it's going to have access to the clubhouse. And then generally that HOA will cover things like lawn maintenance. There's no fences generally in this area, but the biggest thing is that Trutina and the rest of the neighborhood have the exact exact same floor plans. So if you are 55 plus and you actually want to avoid the higher HOA and you don't care about those features like the clubhouse and lawn mowing and things like that, then you can just buy in the regular neighborhood and you're not limiting yourself to the floor plan that you would get. They also said that they might extend Trutina down further depending on the popularity. And so just know that if you are looking to buy into Trutina in 5 or more years from now, depending, they may decide to go south a little bit there. But like I said, it doesn't actually make that much of a difference. We don't really care about the clubhouse and the maintenance side of things. Additionally, this will be the town center. And so this will be the mini Kendall Yards in that area. If you're not familiar with Kendall Yards, it's one of the more walkable live, work, play areas of Spokane. And so they're going to have similar restaurants and things like that going in. Or if you've seen the expansion of the River District and all of the things they have going on there, it's going to have a very similar feel as well. This is probably more long-term. I'd say my guess is that the first one businesses won't go in for another 3 to 5 years minimum. They're probably going to build a lot of the houses before they end up putting this in. But just something that is, if you're planning on being in the neighborhood a long time, it's very likely that that's going to be put in. And the thing that I'm really looking forward to, I think is really cool, is that they're actually putting in a public pool or private pool for the community. It's going to be a large, like full lap swim pool, as far as I can tell. It's supposed to look something like this. And so I think that's really exciting that there is going to be a private pool for the community that your HOA will cover. And then this is the rendering for what that downtown area is going to look like. So you'll have this whole block of businesses to look forward to, and I'm excited to see what ends up going into that area. But you can see there's a lot of public parking all around, so parking should be relatively mitigated off the streets because they try to be conscientious of that as well. And then going back up just real quick, the nice thing too, like I said, they try to make it feel like a neighborhood as soon as possible. And so they've already put in this fossil park, and it is rocking and rolling. I was there filming video and there was kids all over the place. Like, it was absolutely packed. And then the unfortunate thing is that they have this like metal dinosaur statue that actually got stolen this last weekend, and they're out looking for it right now. But this fossil park is like a dinosaur themed park. And I just love that it was like the very first thing that they put in next to the model home. So again, that there was just an immediate place for people to go that are moving into the neighborhood right away. It doesn't just feel like a construction site. Okay, so jumping into some of the home types here, what they have is one row of the Cottage collection, and then they have one row of the estates plans right now. And so we'll jump into kind of what those layouts are looking like and what some of those floor plan options are. So first, we're going to go look at the Cottage collection. So this is right off of the park here. We come and enter into the neighborhood right here, and then you have this whole row of Cottage collections. So Cottage collection is going to be smaller homes, and they are really kind of a little bit longer and narrower. The nice thing, I think, I appreciate that they have an alley in the back. And so all the parking, all the cars are going to have garages right off of this alleyway. You're going to put your garbage back there. And so it keeps people off the streets. And then all of these homes have really nice front decks that you'll see in some of our B-roll. And so they're trying to get people out to the front of their homes, looking out towards the sidewalk, engaging with the community, and being able to see like the treed sidewalks and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's really cool. It's a purposeful neighborhood trying to bring people together versus just looking inside people's garages and forcing them into the backyard and push people out front. So I had the opportunity to walk through this, a handful of these. They have the Monterey plan. I'll get rid of a few of these things. They had the Monterey plan is the model home, and it is like the decked out model home. So it has like as many custom finishes as you can get, so you can see all the options. And then I walked through a handful of these pre-sales that are going on that will be ready in summer of 2026. So if you are looking to make a move soon, you could definitely jump on these. And then these are in the early stages. And then somebody bought this one. I think these ones, I don't even know that they really even broke ground yet, but somebody had just bought the plots right here. So, but I think they're probably looking to do custom finishes and everything. These ones are obviously not going to, these ones right here, you're not going to pick a finish. You're just going to move into what they've already put in there. So if we jump over, we can look at pricing guides for this these layouts. So these homes are going to generally be in that low to mid 500,000 range. A couple of these floor plans, like I believe the Sonoma and the Astoria start at like 475, but they really decked out the Cottage collection, and especially the spec built quick move-in ones. And what they're saying is like for this low $500,000 price point, you're not getting a huge amount of square footage, but they had really nice finishes, all tile, like showers, backsplashes, quartz countertops, fireplaces, like everything was really done up really nice. And so you get to choose. She basically was saying like you either get to choose like, hey, spend low to mid 500,000 with less square footage and get a really nice home, or go to the Estates collection, get 2,000 square feet, but it's going to be like Formica countertops and kind of the basic finishes, things like that. But we had the chance, I had the chance to walk through specifically the Sonoma plan and the Astoria plan, which I'm going to show you here in just a second. So make sure to stick around for that, because we'll walk you through what that floor plan looks like. And then I'm going to show you one of my favorite floor plans that they have that a client of mine bought in the River District. And then I love what they do where they make it so that you can actually build an ADU onto the house and have an extra apartment attached to the home. So we're going to go over that in just a second here. So if we scroll down, you can see that the base pricing for a lot of these though is in that mid to high $400,000 range. But again, that's the base pricing. If you go in and add your nicer countertops, your nicer backsplashes, all that kind of stuff, that's going to push it probably above that $500,000 range. But it just gives you that wide range of options, and they're open to selling it for whatever price point is comfortable to you. You just have to be okay with the finish level that they're going to be providing at that price. So let's jump over and check out a couple of these Cottage collection floor plans here. So the first one we're going to look at is the Astoria. So the Astoria is a 1,300 square foot plan. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and has that 2-car garage in the back. The spec build ones, at least, all were coming with solar panels as well, at that low to mid $500,000 price. So that's great as part of the purchase price. I'm okay with buying solar panels if it's just kind of included in the whole package. I'm not so on it for resale homes that you have to necessarily buy it and then you're on payments and all that kind of stuff. I just don't know that it makes sense here in Spokane specifically. But when you walked in, I was really impressed by the front porches that these homes offered. They were really big front porches, and most of them had like a little sidewalk that went down the side of the house, at least to here. And if you had the slider door option off the great room, then you could put like your barbecue out there or things like that. But there was really totally enough room to like put out a little gas fire pit, some chairs, things like that out front, and be in the front of your house. And now on this one, you just walked in, you walked into the front door here. You had a little dining space over here. And they did have like a little pony wall to kind of like separate the dining room from the main entry. You had your large great room, and the one that I saw had a big fireplace right here, and going floor to ceiling. It was a vaulted ceiling as well, so it felt nice and wide open. Nice with greenstone. Again, if you build from the ground up, you're going to pick all your finishes. So like this one had a really cool quartz countertop that kind of had like a gold vein going through it. There was a nice sage green island, things like that. So you could pick all of those things. The den was here, but it didn't have this door option on it. And I was asking about that because it was not a legal bedroom in the one that I walked through. It was more just like this open room that was a den. And so I would actually see if you could just do the 3-bedroom option here. Then you kind of walked down this hallway. It was really wide. There was plenty of space to walk down this hallway, but you have kind of this like middle section that did feel a little crowded. You walked around this corner to this bedroom. You have the bathroom here, and then the primary over here. And the primary was a nice big space. It had a vault to the ceiling as well in that room. But I just felt like this little interchange in the middle was a little tight. But if it's only a couple of you living in this size of home, then probably no big deal. But if you had a lot of people kind of like coming and going out of all these rooms in the morning or in the evening, then might feel a little congested. Did have a designated laundry room and then off into the 2-car garage. And the one thing that I noted with a lot of these places is the 2-car garage at least had an extra little storage area in some capacity. So it actually felt like a usable 2-car garage. Like you could actually get 2 cars in there plus have some storage space or tools or things like that. So I really appreciated that layout as well. You can see here that these are the extra add-ons that I was talking about. So the one that I had walked through had that fireplace, had the side patio door off the dining room, and then it had this den conversion here where it was just like an open concept. I think this one is suggesting you can do French doors. The one that I saw just had no doors at all and was just open. So I would just see about making it, that's what I didn't like about the layout, that it was just an open den and didn't have any doors. Maybe they hadn't got to the French doors, but I wasn't exactly sure how they were going to do that. So that was my only complaint about this one. But then we're going to jump over to the Sonoma plan here and check this one out. On the Sonoma plan, it was kind of like an offset entry, and I was kind of calling it like an old school entry. Like it felt like you were walking into the home of like the entrance of an older home where like you were met with like an old craftsman home. You're met with the stairs like right there. You're kind of like boxed in, and you go to one direction, you might go to the dining room, the other direction you might go to the living room. So it kind of felt like that, but it was like you're not necessarily closed off, but it just like instead of walking in and just staring straight at the kitchen, it was actually a little bit like there's a little more private room, privacy, and a little bit more separation, which I actually kind of appreciated. So again, this one had the nice porch here, and then it actually wrapped all the way around to this side of the house to where they had the slider door off the great room. So I thought that was really nice. 2 bedrooms up front with a full bathroom right here. And so again, might feel a little congested, but it's a small floor plan, and if it's just a couple of you, or if you're not a ton of people, it's not going to feel like trying to live in this house. It's not going to feel that crowded. I mean, this very well could be for 2 people that then have 2 separate offices, or 1 office and a guest room, whatever you want to do. There would be plenty of room for that kind of situation. So as we go further into the house though, there was actually a nice open dining room, and then the kitchen was cozy, but they had, again, high-end finishes in this one, nice quartz countertops, things like that. And then they had the primary room here. The biggest thing I had noted when I was there in person is that this big window was like facing the neighbors, and they do a pretty good job of making the homes like probably 12 feet maybe from each other, 10 feet from each other. And so they're not like, you can't reach out the window and like touch the other house by any means, but they did have a window on the other house looking into it. And so you would just like have blinds there and stuff. So that was my only thing. I mean, it just kind of comes with the nature of living in a neighborhood, as we all know. Had a nice primary bathroom with a huge tiled shower here up to the ceiling. And then again, if you go through the kitchen, there was they had gas stoves, which I was really surprised by in the new construction, to have a gas range in there. And then it goes into a dedicated laundry room. And then this was a 0-step entry out of the garage, which I thought was nice too. Again, we have this nice wide garage where you have this whole section here to either pull a car in and pull it over a bit, or to like have a whole wall of tools, things like that. So I thought it was a really effective layout. So that's kind of the summary for the Cottage collection. There are a few more floor plans that you can look at on their website. I'm just not going to go into all of the details here, but we're going to jump over just a little bit into the estates plans and look at what they have going on that side of things. So if you're wanting for a bigger home, a little bit bigger price point, these are the spec homes that they're building already. We can see that it's anywhere from like 2,000 square feet up to like the 3,000 square feet, give or take. All of them are going 3-car garage, which I think is kind of awesome that we're just kind of committing to that, especially on this higher price point and looking for more square footage. That's just generally, we want 2 cars, plus we want room for all of our storage stuff or your home gym, things like that. but you're going to generally be looking in the mid 6s to the mid 700s for slightly nicer finishes and things like that without going totally custom. And then there's a mix of like 1-story to 2-story options. The Kingston has a 1-story with a bonus room above the garage, things like that. So those are all the ones that are getting ready right now. But again, you can see the base pricing being anywhere from the mid 500s up to the mid 700s. And so if you wanted to go for like a Sequoia Plus, which is the plus means that they have that ADU on the side of the house, you might be looking at a base price of $756, but very realistically, this could be an $800,000 to an $850,000 house, depending on the finishes you end up doing. And so these homes are being built behind the park a bit. So this is the Fossil Park area that we talked about. So instead of going down the road to the Cottage collection, which would be here that we were just talking about, you come down Valencia, and then they're building these properties. Now, these ones do have garages in the front. They do have a little bit more of a backyard, so it's less about that. The Cottage collection is more about that front-facing community. These are more traditional homes at the end of the day. But as you can see, we already have quite a few sold, people jumping into the neighborhood. These are the spec builds that they're building out, and then we have a couple pre-sales that you could jump in and decide the finishes on. So we're making real fast progress on the estates plans in this neighborhood. And so to look at my favorite floor plan in this entire community, I think it's the Jasper floor plan personally. Like, this is what I would like to buy, honestly, like if I end up moving into this neighborhood, because I think it's kind of awesome. But this is a 1-story plan with a bonus room above the garage. And so like that's 3,100 square feet, 5-bed, 3-bath. And this is the plus model with the ADU. And I think it is just kind of a great layout. You get that 3-car garage, so you can park both cars, have the home gym over here. I'll just draw a little guy that's lifting weights, right there. And then you can walk into either house basically. So if you pulled into the garage, you can go into the main house through the laundry room. You can go at the man door and then go or walk down the sidewalk down here and enter into the ADU. The main house has 2 bedrooms up front that share a bathroom in the middle. And then there's a nice open kitchen, great room, dining room plan here with the primary bathroom off to the corner over here. And then you have the plus section, the ADU. I'll change my color here. So this is the ADU on the side of the house, and they get their own living room, kitchen area over here. And then their bedroom is right off of the garage. And then additionally, you can head up the stairs in the main unit, and then that will take you to the bonus room. So you could even have a home office. So if you are really looking for that, like, do everything at home kind of thing, you want space for the home gym, the home office, for the in-law that needs to live with you, or the kid that graduated and needs a place to rent but stay close to family, anything like that, whatever that looks like for you, this layout would check a lot of those boxes. And so I just think it's really cool that they have some homes with that type of functionality. And when you can get into these for like $750 to $800 with all of the bells and whistles, like, I feel like it's a really good plan if you're just looking to be in a nice neighborhood, versus if you were somebody that wanted this plan on land or whatever, like, yeah, you could build this for $800,000-900,000 and be on 5 acres or something like that. But if you're somebody that likes to be in a community with kids running down the street, something like that, it actually feels like a pretty good deal overall to get all of that layout and that square footage. So I think they've done a really good job planning these floor plans, and I'm just excited to see the community build out over time. So if you are somebody that wants to deep dive into the opportunities of Mead Works, any other new construction community, or just looking at your specific situation moving into, out of, or across Spokane, I'd love to help you out with that. You can use the contact information on the screen, the link down below to schedule a meeting with me at a time that's convenient for you. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.